to Elliott. Oh, the bicycle!
The shot, Bedoya with a goal, 1-0 Union.
Hey everyone, I'm Marisa alongside Sebastian Lintu and Sheanon Williams, and this is Union Insider presented by Bimbo Bakeries USA, your one-stop shop for all things Philadelphia Union. Oftentimes, third-place matches don't carry much weight, but that wasn't the case with the Union's match on Saturday. There was a Concacaf Champions Cup berth on their line. And with a 3-0 win over Monterrey, the Union seized their opportunity to have an emphatic ending to their impressive Leagues Cup run. The Union looked way more like themselves on Saturday night, connecting better passes overall, a little more defensively organized as well compared to Tuesday when they played Inter Miami. What was the biggest difference you saw in this Union squad from Saturday?
I think it was a better, like you said, team effort overall from the defense to the midfield and to the offense, and having a great start of the game. I think it was very important to kind of forget about the loss against Inter Miami, and I think the team played very well with some new young players coming into the lineup and did a good job to get this qualification for the Champions Cup, which was very important. Now it's something done. We're going to see again the Union next year in this competition, but I think it was a great overall kind of performance from the entire team, and kind of like brings the confidence back to the group, which they needed after the loss against Miami.
For me, it was a good way to rebound after a disappointing loss against Miami in the semifinals. I thought that they came out with more urgency. They scored a goal in the first 30 seconds, which was a much better start than the start they had in the semifinals. So it was a good professional performance. We know that they played against a Monterrey team that didn't have all their starters out, but it didn't matter to the Union. They had something on the line and they went for it. They wanted to be in Champions Cup for next year, and I thought they did a good job of securing that win and making sure that they punched their ticket for next year.
For the last month, the Union and the rest of Major League Soccer put the regular season on pause to compete in the first ever Leagues Cup tournament against every club from Liga MX. Philly's journey came to a close on Saturday night at Subaru Park with a signature victory over Monterrey. In case you missed it, here's a look back at this weekend's action.
Year-old, one of the more experienced on this side tonight. Laid off by Quinn Sullivan. First venture into the attack for Philadelphia. Taken here, played across Gosdon, and the opening goal is Philadelphia's. Jesus Bueno. And oh, what a turn of events from the other night when it was Philadelphia who conceded early. They strike first in the opening minute. Sullivan backing up Guzman, the release by Bueno. McGlynn with a good ball. 2-0. Oh, he needed that like oxygen. Mikhail Ua doubles the Philadelphia lead. Right back to Wagner. His service a second time. Punched out by Cardenas. Taken by McGlynn. Gives here to Glesnes. Crowd yelling, shoot! And the shot far post. It's Bedoya who bangs it home! Alejandro Bedoya with his second goal in as many appearances off the bench. And now the Union have that all-important third goal of the night.
Listen, I like to give credit where credit is due. Sheanon, your key to the game last week was for the Union to get off to a hot start. It doesn't get much hotter than Jesus Bueno scoring 30 seconds into the match. What clicked for the Union so early on?
They just looked like they had a more distinct game plan going forward. They wanted to be on the front foot. They've been at home for this whole tournament, and there's been some games where it hasn't looked that way. I thought it definitely looked that way in this last game against Monterrey, and it started with a goal 30 seconds in. So credit to them and wanting to come out with a faster start, wanting to get themselves going and move on from there.
And to build off of that, the Union were back in a 4-4-2 diamond after tinkering with a back three at some points. How much of a role did playing with a back four play into them getting off to a hot start?
I think a better balance, like defensively. I think they were not really scared to push the number forward to kind of press and win the second ball. And after 30 seconds, they got a good play. And having, I think it was maybe 5 people into the box. We didn't see a lot of this against Miami from the first half. So it was, I think, a great thing to have the 4 in the back, so the midfield can really push forward. They know there is 4 behind to defend, and I think it was a good balance for the team. But for me, what really resulted in this tournament, it's I think the fact that McGlynn and Bueno, I think, was the 2 guys who really play very well during this tournament. I think we saw a good pass, from Maglin on the second goal. We saw Bueno scoring a lot of goals, scoring the first one. I think it was a huge thing for both of them to kind of put themselves, in the starting lineup. And I think we are going to hopefully see more of those two in the midfield to help the team, finish the season.
Speaking of goals, Mikel Ua scored his first goal in 8 matches. Coming from a striker's point of view, when you go through those ruts, how important is it to finally break through? What do you hope to see he gets out of that?
We just hope, to have him really finish another season strong, especially now with Carranza being in the injury list, not sure when he's going to come back yet. So having Ura scoring this goal for a forward is using the confidence. You want him to keep making those runs. He's probably the best out running between the two center backs. You have now the passing of Maglin, who can really help him, finding those good balls, and having him, scoring his 8 goals this season. Hopefully, he can finish strong and maybe get, 5, 6 more, for the rest.
Yeah, just a cool 5, 6 more goals, or it's nothing big to ask. And also, Sheanon, he was a little 2 for 2 last week because he also pointed out Alejandro Bedoya as his player to watch. For the second time in a row, Bedoya comes off the bench, scores a big goal. How do you make the case that this is his best role for the team?
I think for me, it's his experience that he brings off the bench. He always makes a good decision in the right time. He's had 2 goals in the last 2 games, and that's coming off of a month where he's been injured. So it just goes to show his experience and what he brings to the team. And I know Jim was excited to have him back. His leadership as well is something that the team lacks at times when he's not on the field. So I think he's a big addition to have back for these last 11 games as they make their final playoff push.
We're stepping away for a bit, but first, let's take a look at This Week in Union History presented by Premier Orthopedics. This week in 2022, the Union tallied their second straight 6-goal game, this time a 6-0 blowout of Colorado at Subaru Park. The scoring barrage was led by a Daniel Gazdag hat trick, his first in a Union uniform. We're back with Throwback Thursday presented by United Concordia. On May 23rd, 2021, the Union defeated DC United in our nation's capital by a score of 1-0. The lone goal in this one was off the foot of Kasper Shabilko, who scored in the first minute of first half stoppage time. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Marisa Pilla. Let's get into our first team report presented by Green Mountain Energy. After a lengthy Leagues Cup run, the Union now have their sights set on a run at the Supporter Shield as they shift back to MLS regular season play. This all starts at Audi Field this Saturday as the Union take on DC United. Let's take a listen to what Jim Curtin had to say about heading into this matchup.
Excited to get back to league play. We've played 37 matches so far. For context, we played 38 all of last season. So in 3 months less time, we've kind of played a ton of matches. Have navigated it fairly well in terms of injuries, and now we look forward to the final 11 games where we have set ourselves up in a decent spot in the league. Have 6 games at home, 5 on the road, and we want to finish as strong as possible and play as many home playoff games as we can. Look forward now to DC, a team that is a rival, a very competitive team. We've had 2 games against them already this year where we've kind of canceled each other out, so we expect a difficult match. They're very well organized and well coached, so obviously look forward to a tough game.
It has been an entire month since the Union last played a regular season match and played somewhere other than Subaru Park. Seba, what will be the biggest transition for the Union as they go from playing Leagues Cup to now back to the regular season?
I don't think it's going to change much. They played DC in Leagues Cup. They won in PK. Another 0-0. They did 0-0 as well against them at the beginning of the year. But they are going to play in their stadium, so it's a bit different. They have been playing an entire month at home, so now going back on the road, I think it's going to be a different mentality, maybe tactically for Jim Curtin and the team to attack this game. But I don't think it's going to change a lot in their mentality of what they want to do and how they want to win this game.
Can you make the argument that playing all those games in a row at home has created some sort of momentum going forward? Maybe they're in a little bit more of a rhythm than kind of the regular season schedule of travel home, travel home.
I think it's just been nice for them to be at home and in their own bed. I'm not sure that I would correlate it to moving forward into the season. We'll have to see how they adjust to having 7 games. We know not all the teams played 7 games, so we'll see if they can get enough guys healthy and enough guys back into the starting lineup to finish out the season the way they want to.
And Seba, as you said, these two teams met in the round of 32 of the League's Cup. The match ended in a scoreless draw. The Union advanced on PKs. How much of that matchup can the Union take into preparing for this game on Saturday?
I mean, they definitely can really learn a little bit from what they did against them at home. But I think, we are now 10 games away from the end of the regular season. DC is not in the playoff picture yet. They are close, but I think the pressure is on DC to kind of like try to get the game into their hand, maybe some pressure into the Union. So we know that DC is more an experienced team who love to drop back, have, a big block, very hard to kind of go through. So I think playing at home, they need to get a result. They need to get a win. So I will see maybe more space and more maybe counter-attack for the Union in this game because DC need to attack and they need to win this game.
This is really the beginning of the end of the regular season for the Union, starting off the final stretch of their regular season schedule. Sheanon, what needs to be on the forefront starting Saturday going forward for the Union?
They just need to stay focused. I think that these games will be really tough to end out the season. A lot of teams are going to be fighting for playoff spots. DC is going to be one of them, and these teams are going to want to come and get 3 points. DC going to be at the home team in this game. We've seen 2 0-0 ties so far. So again, I think Seba hit it spot on, and them kind of taking the onus to this game and wanting to come out and attack and then defend it in a lower block and keep the spaces nice and tight. So I think it's going to be on the Union to really navigate these last 10, 11 games and make sure that they get enough points to end in a good spot and put themselves in a good playoff spot.
As they navigate these last few games, how do you make the case that they should stick with the 4-4-2 diamond here on out?
I mean, it will just depend. I think it just depends. Like, DC United plays 3-5-4-2-1 kind of type of formation, so the 3 in the back could match up. But I think it's a better balance defensively. I think for the Union, it's very important to keep clean sheet like they did against Monterrey the last game. So then, when they are away, they can always get 1 or 2 or 3 opportunities in counter attack to make sure they score the goal. So I think the 4 in the back is a bit safer for the team, so they can minimum get a tie away and hopefully maybe get a win with some opportunity in counter attacks.
Yeah, get their feet wet once again in the regular season. So with that, we wrap up this week's First Team Report. It's time now for Keys to the Game presented by Subaru, because the Union, for the first time in a while, are on a road trip. And what do you need for a road trip?
Keys?
Keys to the game. Seba, what is your key to the game presented by Subaru?
I think for this game, my key is to find the pockets. For the team of DC United, we all know who is very good, well organized defensively, very hard to break through. I think it's very important for few players on the team. I will probably think about Gazdag, maybe Ura, maybe Maglin, to try to find the space between the defense and the midfield, so then we can find them. Of course, before doing this, I think the ball needs to move a bit quickly, in the midfield to kind of like disturb their balance and then find the right pass to then attack the back 4 or the back 3 of DC United. So find the pocket. I think Gazdag will be very important in this game to find him in his feet, so then he can run the offense, as well as Maglin, because we all know his passing is a big thing for the team. So those space to find between the line will be very important for the team.
All right, finding the pockets for Seba, and what will it be for you, Sheanon?
My key to the game is going to be to win the second balls. With the way DC play and them trying to find Benteke and look to play off that, I think it'll be important for the Union to do a good job in picking up those second balls and then looking to counterattack off that. We know that DC will try to come and take the onus of this game and want to be on the front foot, so the Union need to do a good job of winning those second balls and then going on the counterattack from there.
Who does that really fall on? Is it just whoever is in those battles with Benteke, or is it someone specific you want to see kind of turn up the volume?
We know Martinez will be in and around picking up second balls, but it's also the other guys that are condensing space and making sure that if it's not this guy, it's the next one or the next one. So it's going to be a group effort, and when that ball goes over your head, making sure that you track back, close your lines up, pick up the second balls, and then look to connect passes from there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I would add to like the battle between Benteke. We all know how physical it is. So I think Glesnes and Elliott as a strong forward against them, so they don't need to make it too easy on him to make sure he cannot lay the ball back to those guys. They need to make hard, so then it's those second balls that, like you say, Martinez can probably win much easier than if there is not too much challenge against Benteke.
When Union Insider returns, we'll take a look at the club's newest acquisition and how he can impact the team's attack. We'll be right back after this. Time for this week's Chick-fil-A Nugget of the Week. In 2 games against DC United last season, the Union scored a combined 13 goals. In 2 games so far against DC United this season, the Union have yet to score a goal. Welcome back to Union Insider presented by Bimbo Bakeries USA. That's Sheanon Williams, Sebastian too. I'm Marisa Pilla. Let's have a look at this week's player profile presented by Subaru. During the summer transfer window, the Union added some talent to their attacking core as the team eyes a strong regular season finish and a long playoff run ahead. Enter Ty Baribeau, a 25-year-old striker from Israel who finished third in the Golden Boot race last season in the Austrian Bundesliga with 17 goals. Sheanon, what does he provide this Union attack that they don't already have?
First and foremost, I think it adds depth to that striker position. I think that's something that they've been missing at times this year. We saw it in the game against Miami when they started Donovan up top and had him as the lone forward. I think that this gives them an extra attacking piece that they've been missing ever since Corey Burke left. So hopefully Baribeau can come in and get his foot ready to go and score some goals for this Union team as they close out the regular season.
And you're a striker who originally, came from a faraway land. What is the biggest thing that, especially for somebody playing up top where goals is how you make a name for yourself, how do you get going in a league that's notoriously kind of hard to transition into? I
mean, first it's coming in the middle of the season is a bit more difficult than starting from the beginning. So I think it's just to kind of like put himself in a kind of way of the teams they are playing, kind of find some chemistry between the player, you play around and kind of try to find a way to get your first goal quickly, so then the pressure is off your shoulder because you are the new guy arriving and everybody's kind of looking, is he going to score right away? But I think with him already scoring 17 goals in the Austrian league, he has some experience. He already make it to another league. Now he's coming with a new challenge. He's still 25, still very young, but he could really maybe be this guy off the bench we need to have a little spark. Nobody know a lot about him for the different teams, so let's see what he can bring. But he could be like a great joker to get for Jim Curtin to maybe bring for the last 25 minutes of the game if we need a deadlock, and he can be the guy to score the goal for the team.
Right, it's almost beneficial for us, for not a lot of teams to know much about Baribeau because there's the element of surprise. But knowing what we know about Ura, Carranza, how they like to play up top, what do you hope that Baribeau can bring to complement their styles of play?
You just want to see them working together, and that's going to take some time on the field, some practice time, some in-game time for them to find that connection and to find the different spots that one another likes and to play off each other. We saw it a lot last year with the amount of goals that the Union were able to score, and with time will come that cohesion, and hopefully they can get that going. We know it's not easy as they come, midway through the season and you're trying to get all the things sorted out between your living situation and also, learning a new city. So again, hopefully you can come in, hit the ground running, like Seba talked about, get an early goal and take that pressure off and see if he can have a good end of the season.
Let's now take a look at some of the action from across MLS on Around the League, presented by Torque. It all came down to this in the League's Cup final after a 1-1 draw in regulation and 10 rounds of PKs. Drake Callender stopped Nashville goaltender Elliot Panico's shot to clinch the first ever League's Cup trophy for Inter Miami. MLS regular season play is back, and we already have interesting results. This included the Battle of Ohio, where Jason Russell Rowe sealed a 3-0 win for Columbus Crew at home over FC Cincinnati. We're stepping away one more time, but when we return, these guys will give me their players to watch for the Union's upcoming match against DC United. Union Insider returns after this. Starting this year, every Union League match is on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Sign up today to make sure you don't miss a minute of the action. You can also check out the live Whip Around show, MLS 360, or if you missed out on the live, you can relive every moment with full match replays. And get this, if you're a T-Mobile subscriber, you get this whole year of Season Pass content free of charge. Final segment here on Union Insider presented by Bimbo Bakeries USA. And as always, we close out the show with our all-state players to watch. Now, you know the deal. They both pick a player they think is going to have a big matchup against DC United, and we have to give props to Sheanon. He's had a rough go of it, the last couple players to watch, but last week chose Alejandro Bedoya. He had a really good game coming off the bench, and because of that, he gets rewarded by going first now. So take a step back, Seb.
I'll have to admit that Seba actually gave me the pick through text messages. My player to watch this week is going to be Michael Ura. We saw him score the first goal in a while last week against Monterrey, and hopefully that'll get him going. Sometimes you just need to see one hit the back of the net to get yourself back into form. I thought that it built his confidence. I thought he had a really good game even after the goal. And I think that he's somebody that, with the question marks surrounding Carranza and his injury, we need to make sure that he is the focal point in the attack and somebody that gets the goals.
Yeah, you could almost see the look of relief on his face when the ball hit the back of the net. So it's always good. I don't have to tell you that I got things going again, and to have the Union have that option up top. Seb?
And I'm going with somebody who can maybe connect with him. I'm going with Daniel Gazdag. I think it's important to get our number 10 kind of back into the rhythm of kind of helping the offense. I think he has a big role in this game to, like I talk about it, find those pockets, get on the ball, try to get, the offense running. He could really come low. He can be, very close to Ura and maybe find those passes for him into the space. So I'm really looking to have, Daniel Gazdag kind of really helping the team and lifting, this offense when you are away, and maybe on those counter-attacks, try to find the right pass to find Ura for maybe getting, a few goals in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be important to see how that midfield, first of all, is lined up. Second of all, how they operate down in D.C. That's going to do it for us. The Union, we haven't said this in a while, back on the road in D.C. Saturday night to face D.C. United. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m. and can be seen on Apple TV. If you love the sound of Sheanon's voice, well, you can listen to him alongside Dave Leno on the radio called 97.5 The Fanatic, and we will be back here next week to talk all about it. For Seba, Sheanon, and our entire crew, I'm Marisa Pilla. Have a great weekend, and thanks again for watching.